Alright, hello and welcome to Empire of Wargames. I'm ePlash. And today we are talking about one of my favorite factions of all time and the faction I started playing with, Necrons. Wow, they changed the command protocols again. It's going to be a a semi-negative episode. I'm usually very straightforward with my opinion, so please take everything I say with a grain of salt. Not everything I say is correct, and most of it is very heavily opinionated and with a slightly negative taint, as all Xenos players carry with them. I think you understand if you are a Xenos player. If not, please be more empathetic. Okay, anyway, Codex Necrons revealed on the 28th of September, so that was yesterday. Hell yeah, I'm pseudo on time for once. Now, there's a lot of text I won't read. Let's get to the command protocols. Okay, so everyone is talking about the command protocols. Command protocols have been changed. You roll them. I won't go over the rules. You can read them on screen yourself if you want to follow along. But I will explain them shortly. So, reanimation protocols were changed. You roll them after the enemy attacked you. So let's say a intercessor squad is shooting at your Necron warriors and they take 5 out of 10 guys out. You will be able to reanimate those guys at the end of their shooting. Okay? And the reanimation is on a 5+, and the reanimation itself works as follows. You have a wound pool. In this case, 5 warriors died. So you're rolling 5 dice. On a 5+, you get 1 wound back. And in this case, 1 wound is enough to reanimate 1 warrior. So 1 warrior stands up. Okay. Now, for single wound models, the reanimation protocols are very good. It's actually nice. Okay? Why is everyone so negative about it? Well, the strength of Necrons in the last edition, and one of the only strengths they had, is that if you kill multi-target models and you give them the time to reanimate and you don't wipe out the whole squad, they are coming back with 3 wounds if you make the roll, which made them really good. That made them very durable, etc. Now, whenever you want to reanimate a 3-wound model, let's say 3 destroyers die and you have 1 guy left. That means you have 9 wounds in the pool. And that means you need to roll 9 dice. And on a 5+, you get that wound back. Okay. So that means out of those 9 dice, if you roll, let's say, 5 5s or 6s, 1 destroyer stands up. You don't have, and the other 2 wounds you get fade because you would have needed 3 wounds to reanimate 1 additional destroyer. I hope you can follow me. And that's terrible. That's really bad. There will be rules. Everyone speculates. Everyone is way more positive than I am about this. But everyone speculates that there will be additional rules, stratagems, models that actually buff your reanimation protocols. The thing I am able to work with right now is that a reanimation protocol roll can never be modified by more than +1 or -1. And that's not really good. That means 50%, if they are buffed, of your wound rolls make it so you can push them into your multi-wound models. Multi-wound models are worse. The reanimation protocols on them, at least. So that's why everyone's negative about them. Our strength, the Necron strength, was it that multi-wound models stand up in full strength, scary as heck. You make 1 roll, they stand up, done. Now people are comparing it to a bad Feel No Pain. I don't know if I agree with that. It's certainly much more limited than Feel No Pain. It doesn't have the same it's not as reliable as Feel No Pain because they are very specific about this. Each time an enemy shoots or fight after it makes an attack, if any models in this unit were destroyed as a result of those attacks, but this unit was not destroyed, that's another caveat, this unit's reanimation protocols are enacted. Okay? They said specifically each time an enemy unit shoots or fights. That means whenever you get a psychic attack, no reanimation protocols. Whenever a flyer drops bombs in the movement phase, no reanimation protocols. I don't know. I don't like the rules changed for now. Maybe the whole codex will clear it up for me, but as of right now, the reanimation protocols are fine for 1 wound models and terrible for anything that has more than 1 wound. Yeah. That's my opinion. At least for now. Then we have the protocols. The protocol of the Sudden Storm, Directive 1, add 1 move characteristic of models in this unit. And Directive 2 is if this unit is performing an action, it can still make attacks with ranged weapons without that action failing. Okay. Now protocols are what you choose. Number 1, the problem number 1 with this is that a Necron unit, a Necron Lord or Noble or HQ needs to be within 6 inches of the unit that wants to make use of those directives. Problem number 2, you can't use both directives at all times, but rather just one, unless that specific protocol is from your dynasty. So yeah, that's something to note. And you need to know which protocol occurs at which turn. You decide that, I think, after placing your models, but before rolling who goes first. Or whatever. It's really early. It's before you actually start the game. So you need to have insane foresight. It's kind of similar to doctrines from the Space Marines, but it's way more restrictive. They try to make it more flexible with you being able to choose what happens and you being able to lay out which protocol happens when. Doctrines are much more limited when it comes to that, of course. But in return, you need to be within a Necron Lord, within 6 inches of them for that to trigger. You need to lay them out beforehand, so you need good foresight and a good feel for when to use which protocol, and that's all just knowledge. You will have to play tens or hundreds of games to feel out against which army you will want which protocol at which specific time. And yeah, and the only flexibility you have are the directives. So the directives are good. They are mediocre buffs. They are additional helpful things. Add 1 to the movement characteristic of your models. It's not going to break the bank. It's not going to make me explode in happiness. But having your army be as fast as a regular Space Marine army is great. And if the unit is performing an action, it can stay and make attacks with ranged weapons. That's great for objectives, which require you to take an action to gain victory points. And you can still shoot while doing that. So that's actually nice in certain situations. Okay, now we have the Deathmark, the Hexmark Destroyer, which is a combination of a Deathmark and a Destroyer. So these guys have an 18-inch range, pistol 1, strength 6, AP -1, damage 1 weapon. And whenever they kill a model, each time, this one is short, I can read this one. Multi-threat eliminator. Each time an enemy model is destroyed by a ranged attack made by this model's emetic disintegrator pistols, after this model makes the rest of its attacks, it can shoot with one of its emetic disintegrator pistols 1 additional time. These attacks cannot generate additional attacks. That's great. That's really good. That's a good rule. So strength 6, AP -1, damage 1. Which units is that good for? Let me take a sip. Strength 6 means that it's good against any and all infantry. If it wounds custodies on a tree, it's good. AP -1. AP -1 is okay. That means a Space Marine has a 50-50% chance of surviving. Of not getting 1 damage, excuse me. You need 2 damage to kill them, so the weapon is only damage 1. So this weapon isn't great against Space Marines. Against basic intercessors, it's not the best weapon. You will have 6 shots, as far as I'm aware, because everyone is saying the Hexmark Destroyers have 6 pistols, so I'm assuming that they have 6 and Mythic Disintegrators. You will probably kill... I don't know. I would need to math hammer it out, but I will assume that you will be able to kill 1 intercessor and deal 1 wound, maybe on average. So you will get 1 additional shot. Maybe you can kill two intercessors in 1 turn with this one. Against squishies, like for example, a regular Imperial Guard Guardsman, those are great because then you will be able to stack all your guns and make great use out of multi-threat eliminator, which might even, if you're a little bit lucky, allow you to shoot 12 times, if I'm not completely mistaken, which is insane. This guy being able to take out, with a little bit of luck, 12 guardsmen is nice. Heavier infantry, not so much squishy infantry. Hexmark Destroyers are your model to choose. I'm actually, one last thing, I'm actually interested to see how good these are in melee, or if they can even hold their own in melee, because 18-inch range is really short. So if they just get obliterated in melee, that would be sad. I don't expect them to I don't know, kill everything in melee, but I would like them to hold their own. Okay, the last thing we have... Oh no, we have so much more to go. My god. And that's only the Necron stuff. Whew, I will try to hurry it up a little bit. Okay, the next thing is the Monolith. Okay, we get a death ray 24-inch, heavy 1, strength 9, AP -3, damage 3 plus... damage 3 plus 3. That's a good weapon. Rather short ranged, only heavy 1 compared to the Gladiator we saw, compared to Repulsor Executioners, compared to all the shots they get at a much higher range. I'm not really convinced. Gauss, Flux Arc, 30-inch range, Rapid Fire 3. Okay, Strength 5, AP -2, damage 1. I hope this thing has more than 1 Gauss Flux Arc. If it has 4, that's good. If it has only this one thing, that's not that good. I guess you can shoot 6 shots at 15 inches of range, but it's still not very impressive. Then we have the Particle Whip, which is, this one is great. Range 36, great range. Heavy D6, okay. So on average, it's 3.5 hits. Strength 12, which is going to shred through toughness 5 and 6 vehicles, like for example a Storm Speeder. So that's worth noticing. AP -3, which means a Storm Speeder would only have a armor value of 6. So on a 6-up, it survives, and it does damage 3, which is also good. So you can actually do decent damage if you roll well on your hits, which is actually nice. And it also has the blast ability, which means a full squad of heavy intercessors is actually going to be hit. Is actually going to get 6 hits or 3 hits. I'm not 100% sure if it's 6 hits or 3 hits, but it's one of those. So it's really good against that, at least. Against masses. Wait a second. The Monolith is actually way better against infantry than it is against vehicles. Huh. Interesting. And the last but not least is the Portal of Exile, which is melee, range melee, type melee, strength user, which is probably going to be 5. I think. That's me spitballing. It might be wrong, but I assume it's 5. AP minus 3, damage 3. Each time an attack is made with this weapon, that attack automatically hits the target. It remains to be seen if you can just make all melee attacks with the Portal of Exile. I hope so. If that's the case, you will be using your Monolith as a real big battering ram, and you will just use it to fucking, excuse the wording, I will probably beep that out, to just drive into the enemy. You will just shove it in there. You will shoot all your shots, because that's what vehicles do in 9th edition. And either your Monolith is still alive, or it explodes, and with a little bit of luck takes even more units with him. So that's the way to use Monoliths. I guess you always use them as kind of a roadblock, but my god. Okay, now we have the Void Dragon. This one is insane. Movement 8, weapon skill and ballistic skill 2. 2+, strength 6, great, toughness 7, great, 9 wounds, which makes him insanely tough because he can make use of Lookout Sir, which is, that's so good. 5 attacks, alright, leadership 10, save 3. The save 3+, I don't care about it. He has so many defensive capabilities. The save doesn't matter at all. Now we have the weapons. Spear of the Void Dragon, range 12. I was hoping it would be range 18, but oh well. Heavy 1, strength 9, AP minus 4, damage d6. Each time an attack is made with this weapon, if a hit is scored, draw a straight line between the closest point of this model base or hull and that of the closest model in the target unit. Make 1 wound roll against the target unit and each other units this line passes over. Each time an attack made with this weapon is allocated to a vehicle model, that attack has a damage characteristic of D3 plus 3. That's so good. That's why I was so hoping that this weapon would be range 18. When I first read the ability, I didn't see the whole profile. This thing with an 18-inch range would have been godly. As it stands, it's a really good shooting weapon. If you're lucky, you get... I don't know, you get an intercessor squad in between the Void Dragon and the Repulsor Executioner you are targeting with this, which is fine. And then Spear of the Void Dragon in melee is range melee and type melee, obviously, is all in all strength 9, AP minus 4, damage d6, and against vehicles, it's damage d3 plus 3. This thing is a vehicle destroyer, and that's what it's going to be used for. And after it's done with all the vehicles, it's going to just tear through any and all infantry ever, because it is going to wound anything except Gravis and Custodes and obviously toughness 5 guys on a 2, but everything else is just going to detonate. Now let's get to the defensive things. This model has a 4+ invulnerable save. That's why the 3+ save is doesn't matter. In addition, this model cannot lose more than 3 wounds in the same phase. Insane. That's the Gaskul rule. I love this rule. It's really good. Tau players hate it, obviously, but it is what it is. Any wounds that this model would lose after this point are not lost. So good. Necrodermis. Perfect. And matter absorption. At the end of each phase, roll 1d6 for each enemy vehicle model destroyed, hence vehicle destroyer, as a result of an attack made by this model, or it's a Catan power used by this model that phase. For each 2+, this model regains 1 lost wound to a maximum of 3 regained wounds per phase. So if your enemy player has squishy vehicles like Storm Speeders or anything of that kind, walkers, Imperial Guard or Eldar walkers with this thing, you're going to destroy your enemy. My god. This is the model I'm most excited about. Those are the rules I want for all the Necron stuff. I want them to be tanky, 4+ invulnerable save. Stuff like that. Like, I mean, on a named character, obviously, not on a Necron warrior. But these rules get me excited. This is what I want out of a Necron release. My god, this is a great model, and I'm probably going to get it, not just because it looks cool, but because it's actually a good thing to put on the table and wreck vehicles with. Nice. If you have anything to add, any opinions, or if I said anything wrong, or if you want to correct me, please do so in the comments. Please like if you enjoyed the video. It always helps out. Subscribe to the channel if you want to stay up to date with all my stupid opinions about Warhammer. As I often say, I usually view my channel as a Xenos perspective channel, just to change things up a little to all the other channels that exist. We have Valrak, who's more like the Imperial Space Marine guy. We have tons and tons of Imperial players. So having someone who's actually more Xenos, who plays more Xenos factions, may be a little bit of a different touch to my videos. So, as I said, if you enjoyed it, do all the good things, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.